Hi everybody, it's Fat Frog. In this video I'm going to show you my strategy for doing Legendary or Purple Orbital Supply Drop solo in Ark Survival Ascended and also work for Ark Survival Evolved 2. You're not going to find cheesy strategies, and it's going to be longer than my normal videos because it goes in depth, not because it's full of fluff to get more ad revenue. Not only will you know what to do, you'll know why it works and can apply these strategies in other ways in Ark. If you take full advantage of these strategies, it will be fairly easy after a bit of practice, but getting your Karkars tamed, bred, and leveled up is no easy feat, especially on official rates. There is a reason why these are called legendary. Another reason they are legendary is the amount of loot you get. Unlike lesser drops, legendary drops never end unless you fail and the corrupted dinos break the OSD or you go too far from it and it despawns. Dying while playing solo also ends the defense. Starting at wave 7, you can end the defense, and only the corrupted dinos that have already spawned will give you trouble. If you continue past this wave, the total amount of loot just goes up and up and up, and you can be pretty amazing. I think I've made it to level 20, and then I just get bored and want to do something else though. I also have a blog post linked in the description if you want to refer back to text rather than the video. All the footage in this video comes from one drop defense where I go through wave 10. At the end, I'll show you the last bit of the defense and take a look at the gear and resources I got from it. Stuff for your character. I don't take anything for granted with these because they can go sideways quickly, and if you die and you don't have a partner, the defense will end and it will all be for nothing. You don't necessarily need all these things for your character, but it's good insurance. Bring lots of food. Food drops quickly in the wastelands, so at least bring 3 stacks of cooked meat, or maybe more if you're going to go for as many waves as possible. Medical brews. Even though if you're on the back of a dino, and that's where you want to stay for most of it, King Reapers can still poison you and weird stuff happens like accidentally dismounting. You want to bring some soups for heat. Many of the spots in the wasteland are hot. I bring cactus broth and clean soup to help with the heat. Focal chili. If you find yourself on the ground, you can be in a lot of trouble. By having taken focal chili, you will be able to run away faster, which is especially good in Ark Survival Ascended, where you can't change your movement speed. Lazarus chowder. That's going to help you regenerate your health faster. I often get caught up in the action and forget to monitor my health, so this chowder helps with my ADHD. Armor. Bring a few sets of armor, the best ones you have to combat heat, which is usually the biggest problem. I usually wear ghillie armor to keep cool. I also like to wear a tech chest piece so I can blast off to safety if I get caught on the ground. I also wear tech boots because I will not take fall damage from when hopping on and off the Karkars, and that's going to cause a lot of damage to you. Gun. Bring a gun to aggro stuck dinos and to have an emergency or if you get bored. Metal pick. I bring a metal pick in case there is some pesky rock that is getting away of my setup. Tames for the OSD defense. You won't need them now, but at the end you're going to need some dinos with excellent weight stats. I use 3 mutated RGs to haul the loot back. I may not need 200 metal walls, but I can sure grind them up for resources. Also, the defense is a great way to get black pearls, which also weigh a ton. Our main dinos are going to be 4 Karkars, 2 males and 2 females, to take advantage of the mate boost buff. All are going to be fully imprinted, which is important as well. They will all have saddles, of course, and we will have some modest improvements to the armor on most of the saddles, except as a experiment I am running on this video, I will just have one without a saddle. The Karkars have no mutations, but they are a very good combination of tamed individuals. 2 are fully leveled because these purple drops provide such great XP, and the other 2 are well on their way. During the defense, I'll change from Karkar to Karkar, getting them leveled up to 100 points into the Blood Rage so that they will be doing maximum damage and having maximum healing. With Blood Rage at 100, the Karkars will probably never need to heal, and these high-level ones with good saddles and buffs that I'll be talking about in a minute are basically invincible. At full Blood Rage, damage and healing will be increased by 175%. Then we'll have 2 UDs, a male and a female, to provide a buff and a debuff. Bring more if you want. On our server, we have a mod that allows us to enable the auto courage roar you get in single player. If you don't have this available, you can still use the UDs for their debuff by putting them on aggressive and on turret mode. Alternatively, you could ride a UD most of the time and manually use the courage roar, but I would get kind of bored with that. I also use UDs as a storage unit for collecting black pearls and other resources from the corrupted creature corpses. They also work good as a distraction for some of the attacking creatures since they will attack the UDs before the OSD. Admittedly, these two UDs of mine and their saddles are pretty great, but if you have lesser ones and the ability to switch out new UDs between waves, that might be a good option. Or you might heal them with Daedons or Snow Owls. Another thing you can use the UDs for is a sort of leash for your dinos. Hop on the back of your UD and have some of your cars follow it. When you hop off, be sure to put the UD back on turret mode because riding a dino automatically cancels out turret mode. Now your dinos will come back home near the OSD and do a better job of defending it with less management on your part. If your creatures are not quite leveled up yet, you may have to cut a few of these OSD defenses short and fight again another day until you get your dinos enough XP and have the combination of health and melee stats that you want. For my strategy, UDs are pretty important. The UD Courage Roar is going to increase the outgoing damage your cars are doing, for instance, by up to 25%. That starts to decrease over time after the roar. And it's also going to decrease the amount of incoming damage to the cars by 20%. The mate boost is going to give us a 33% increase in outgoing damage, and the incoming damage is going to be reduced. It's supposed to be reduced by 33%, but in some of my testing, it was only reduced by like 10 or 15%. Not sure what's up with that, but still doesn't really matter because that mate boost is giving you an extra 33% damage. And if you think about it, between the UD and the mate boost buff, you're going to be putting out an extra 58% damage. That means you're going to be taking out the enemy much quicker than you normally would. And that means that the enemy is going to be doing a lot less damage to you. So those buffs are actually kind of buffed in a way on top of that, just by that factor. And don't forget, we have imprinted dinos, and that gives us a 20% increase in our health and a 20% increase in our base melee as well. Okay, you found a legendary OSD and you want to attack. First thing is to start deploying your dinos, especially if your server has cryo sickness. If it doesn't, you can hold off. Just use one to munch up all the troublesome wild dinos in your area. Most of the OSD defense is going to have 3 to 4 attack routes that the corrupted creatures are going to come through. I found this drop at one of the worst places to defend, but let me get set up. I'm placing spiked walls at some of these attack routes. I set the spiked walls up not to stop the attack, but to slow it down. That way my small army will not get overwhelmed, and it will give the cars time to naturally heal. When you're out looking for OSDs, I would bring 20 to 30 spike walls and set them up on the routes to approach the OSD. Don't get too close to the OSD or you'll trigger the start of the defense. Depending upon your settings, the spike walls may damage your tame dinos, to be sure to keep an eye on them so they don't get stuck and slowly die on a wall. It's a very disgraceful way to die. The spike wall's main function is to slow the creatures down, but they do form other functions as well. They will cause damage to the corrupted creatures before they get to your army at the drop. Sometimes they will even kill trikes and carnos. Second, they will cause some to never stop attacking the spike walls. These corrupted creatures seem to have a timer before they despawn, so if they are stuck fighting a wall for a long time, they sometimes disappear, like the enraged corrupted Rex does in this example. And finally, you'll usually find the last few of the corrupted dinos in a wave happily engaged in attacking a spike wall. This will give you time to do inventory management, move black pearls, corrupted hearts, and other resources that you need from the cars to your UDs, and then dump the rest of the inventory. You want to keep the inventories in the cars fairly clear so that they continue to pick up resources, tributes, treasure maps, etc. from the corpses that they eat. You can also use this time to heal by deploying a Snow Owl or Daedon. Also, with all that XP coming in, you can level up your creatures. And make sure your character is fed and hydrated and you're not overheating and easy to forget in all the excitement. When you're ready, go kill off the dinos and begin the next round. I got a little carried away with the spike wall explanation. Let's get back to getting started. When you have your spike walls set, you can deploy your creatures, or if you have cryo sickness, you should have started that before you set up the walls. When you get close to the OSD, it will trigger the defense, and you only have a little while until the shield goes up, and about 2 minutes before the shield will go back down and all hell breaks loose. So if you have your group charge into the supply drop area, get your UD set up first if you're using UDs. Set them just out of the way so they don't get attacked by too much. Here I set them up with a rock behind them so they won't be attacked from behind and they will not get hit when the corrupted dinos are actually biting the OSD. I set them to turret mode and then enable auto courage roar. They also need to be set to aggressive. This will cause them to fear roar nearby creatures that are smaller than them. None of them are going to run away, but they will take more damage while affected, and they will do less damage to the OSD, to the other creatures in your army. Also, by being unaggressive, they'll take a little less damage because they will attack other creatures that come nearby them instead of waiting for them to be hit. If you were quick to set up your UDs, you may have time to put some spike walls around the OSD. I don't do this because I get bored before the corrupted creatures will actually ever break the drop. And my dinos are going to take a lot of damage from them throughout the course of the defense. This run goes through wave 10, and the OSD only takes about 10,000 damage, leaving it with 90,000 health, which is plenty buffer for me. Now the fun begins. Get on the back of a car and wait for the shield to drop. Wave 0 is upon us, and this is really one of the worst waves, actually, because you're going to quickly get overwhelmed because so many dinos have been building up outside the shield wall. The other thing is those cars don't have any blood rage up yet, so they are going to not be dealing as much damage, and they are not going to be healing as fast. The other waves will be different because they will be more delayed by the spike walls. Setup is really the key to the OSD defense, but now here are some other random tips and points. A change in ASA is that they added these circles to the last remaining dinos in a wave, because the dinos can get stuck on terrain and rocks or blocked by a cliff. Also, rock drakes can be invisible and reapers can be buried underground, so this helps you find those last little guys. You still need to be in the general area to see them. Unfortunately, this wasn't changed in ASE. If an enraged corrupted Rex has made it to your dino army, whistle everybody to attack it first. The enraged corrupted creatures are alphas, so they do a lot of damage and they give a buff to the other corrupted creatures. You want to take them out as fast as possible. They are also a bit of a wild card. I've been attacked by as many as 4 at a time, and with 140,000 health each, it's a real battle that could kill all your dinos, especially if you start off with low health. So if your creatures get to half health, quit. Don't take a chance on this happening in the next wave. This is one reason you don't mess around with legendary drops and deploy the spike walls. The good news is the enraged corrupted Rexes give an absolute ton of XP to you and your dinos. While doing inventory and management on the cars, I like to mount them first. That way, if something comes and I get attacked from nowhere, I will be protected. A level 500 enraged corrupted Rex or Wyvern can kill a dismounted player very quickly. Legendary drops are the best way to level up a chibi in the game. You might be able to level one up just in one defense alone. Sometimes I like to mix it up. I'll bring some Gigas or even Velos on turret mode just for fun. It's a game. Remember to have fun, but expect to lose some creatures along the way. I haven't tried the new Dinotherium, but a herd of these might have some merit. Well, that was a bit of a TED Talk, more than I expected. Let's see how my OSD defense example turned out. All right, that was wave 10. We survived. The car without a saddle did not. So we're going to quick head over here and end this defense before the next wave starts. There we go. But we're going to have a bunch of stuff still on the way that we are going to have to defeat before we open up this guy. Actually, we got it pretty quick, so there might not be too much around. Well, speaking of nothing around here, we got a King Reaper. We'll take care of him. Oh, they saved us an enraged corrupted Rex. These guys are pretty crazy. The last wave had 3 of them, and that's what killed our car friend. So this guy's got 134,000 health, and so they usually have about that much, 140,000 health, stuff like that. So they take a while to go down, even with this mate boosted, UD boosted, all that good stuff. Car, but boy, do they give us some good XP. Oh, we got a bunch of stuff is coming in. So we'll get rid of these guys real quick. Won't be a problem. But we've got our whip to whip up all the goodies that we get here. All right, how are we doing? I think this might be the last guy. Did we get him? All right, so we're gonna just leave everybody out. Our UDs are gonna be on roar still, just in case we need them. I'm gonna quick drop off some of this loot so it doesn't get confused with our other stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and get our Argentavises out. I even got a level myself, which at 149 is not that common anymore. So it's just a great way to level up. Okay, so we're going to get this guy over here. And then we're going to get this other dude out about here. And then we're going to put these guys on passive real quick so they don't fly off if we do get attacked. There we go. Did that work? Passive. Passive isn't... Aggressive is not what we wanted. Okay, so one more. Not sure if we're going to need it. The longer that you do these things, the more loot you're going to get, and the more Argentavises you're going to need. There we go. Okay. And then we're just going to dump all of our gear right in there. Okay. All right. So we're going to position ourselves right by this Argentavis for when it comes out. We got our whip. And then we're going to start whipping our stuff. See what we get. We're probably going to get a ton of cryopods. Usually get a ton of cryopods. And then only got a couple minutes to pick this stuff up. Got to stay close by our stuff here. Come on. All right. Let's dump all that gear there. Let's run over to our next Argentavis. A little bit of lag today for some reason. There we go. That one filled us up right away. Okay. Over that way. Please. Oh. Our whip broke. So that's not good. So we'll have to grab this stuff manually. Hopefully. There we are. Oh, that was just a blueprint. Okay. Anyway, we'll do this real quick. Can I hit F? There we go. And that way. Looking like we got some good stuff. There we go. Drop that stuff off. And I think this one is it. All right, so we're going to head back and we'll sort it out and look at it when we get back. All right, we're back at base with our 3 Argentavises. Let's see what we got. So this is kind of the raw ingredients. We got 400 black pearls. We got a bunch of element dust here. It looks like 4,000. We got 333 actual element, some random meat and stuff like that. Some polymer, 407, let's say it all, metal ingots. We got some soups and some, what was that? Sweet veggie cakes. So this is probably more interesting to you. We've got a bunch of blueprints. We got some really nice tech armor blueprints. We got blade wasp hives. We've got a bunch of pieces for a battle rig. We got a decent dreadnought saddle here. Not a blueprint though, 56 armor here. Let's see, we got a bunch of these different traits, which are pretty cool. Lots of building pieces, actually about 50 of these at least. Let's see, probably about 70, I guess, actually. Spike metal walls, so we've got all of the stuff that we didn't pick up the other ones that we had there either. Some good riot gear and stuff like that. A nice saddle, Rex saddle at 117. So not too shabby. This is what we picked up off of our dinos that had they had collected. We did lose our guy here. We won't be reincarnating him. Let's see here. We had 130 black pearls. Our harvest rates here are 3x, so divide that by 3. What is that, 45 or so? Black pearls. We got 16 alpha T-Rex tooths here. One thing that we got was actually really cool is we got 3 treasure maps from the Bob's Tall Tales. So we got an Ascendant, we got a Apprentice, and a Ramshackle here. So that's pretty nice. And then the gear was mine already. If you like the video, check the end card in the description for a playlist of other videos. And if you found it helpful, please like and subscribe. If you have some spare change and want to buy me a coffee, there's a link to do so in the description. All your help from likes to coffees and memberships are very much appreciated. Thanks for watching.